All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What's going on, YouTube? We're back with the Saturday, October 14th, NHL Quick Hit edition. Again, these shows are brought to you by SHIPITNation.com. Head over to SHIPITNation.com and definitely check us out. We have a $19 promo right now. Pop this up on the screen. Get you access to all of our content behind the paywall, including this week for NFL. We'll take you through Monday Night Showdown contest as well. Have all the premium content, including baseball, including the NHL premium content, my core plays, slate plan, matchup sheet, you name it, we have it, and NBA. Quickly approaching. Head over there. 6-month, year-long, and monthly packages available outside of this, as well as this $19 kind of trial rate. One call out with this $19 rate is no Discord access. So if you guys do want the Discord, which I highly suggest, it's the best Discord personally I've been a part of in the industry. Do need to sign up for the month, the 6-month, or the year-long package, which I think is the route to go anyways, as we have the best all-in rate, all-encompassing projections, content, tools, everything to help you make educated and competitive DFS lineups. We came to talk about NHL here. We have a 12-game slate for this Saturday here, and man, we got a doozy here. I'm going to talk through it a little bit differently. I'm not going to go game by game with so many games on the slate. We tried to keep these videos to 20 to 30 minutes, give or take, give you guys some information, get you kind of a high-level overview of the slate, kind of where I'm looking, and then you'll get my final thoughts later on the Ship It Nation premium side, where my core plays, my slate plan, and the matchup sheet will be live, where you can make your final lineups before submitting, before contest lock. Looking at the slate from a high-level overview, again, obviously the first two games of the day, the Flyers and the Senators and the Panthers and the Jets are not on the DraftKings main slate. We're focusing on the DraftKings main slate here. So looking at the overall slate, Vegas right now, Vegas Golden Knights sitting at the highest implied team total on the slate, almost around 6 goals right now. Colorado closely behind, sitting right around 5. You got Edmonton sitting over 4.5 right there. New York Rangers at 4.3. And then Toronto, Montreal, the Islanders, Boston, Tampa Bay, Seattle, some of those teams filter in between down there. A couple of the lowest team totals on the slate, obviously the Ducks, the Sharks, the Predators, Columbus, Philadelphia, Minnesota, Vancouver, some of those lowest there. Have a lot of 6.5 totals, 1.7 total out there in Vancouver and Edmonton. I'm going right back to the Edmonton well here again tonight. 7 total out there. Carolina and the Kings is a 6 total, but I actually have some interest in that game. We'll talk on that in particular because I have some interest in a low-owned side there. And then the lowest total on the board is Boston and Nashville. They're 2 defensive-focused teams. Don't like that game from a DFS perspective, so we'll just look at some goalies in that one. I'm going to go ahead and talk through some of my favorite teams that I'm targeting on this slate. Then we'll talk on some of the individual players on each one of those teams. Then I'll talk on some of the goalies. And kind of get on out of here is kind of the structure that I'm going to take on these bigger slates. Let me know if you have any suggestions in the comment section below. Again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not already. I appreciate everyone tuning into these shows. And again, drop in the comments what you like about them, what you like about Ship It Nation, what you want to see more of in terms of NHL around these shows, my content, things like that. I will definitely take those into consideration. And we also come back for future giveaways on the Ship It Nation YouTube station here based on interaction. So we appreciate that. Let's go ahead and start with Vegas here. Vegas draws a very good matchup here against Anaheim at home. Looking at my matchup sheet, let me just pull it up real quick. So the Ducks on the road last year, bottom 5 in the league in terms of goals against, expected goals against was 3rd worst, and their penalty kill was sitting right around 72%. Gave up a lot of high danger chances as well, right around 14 per game. I actually like Vegas here quite a bit. Vegas is going to get ownership, obviously the highest favorite, minus 345 here at home in Vegas against Anaheim, making their first game of the season, I believe it is, for Anaheim. John Gibson's going to be in net for Anaheim, which is always a frustrating thing because John Gibson is one of the best goaltenders, in my opinion, in the entire league. He's a top 5 goalie, in my opinion. If he was on any other team, he'd be in contention to win the award every year for best goalie in the league. But this is a tough test, man, in Vegas. Last time he saw Vegas, he gave up 7 goals. And yeah, I mean, unless John Gibson stands on his head here, it's hard to imagine that Vegas isn't going to score a lot of goals here. I think Vegas, all 3 lines, 1, 2, 3, are all in play here at home. I like third liners a little bit more at home, but Jack Eichel is kind of this focal point. He's been great to start the year here. Has a goal in his first game, 6 shots on net, and an assist last game. So he's averaging right around 4.5, 5 shots per game so far this season. He's still priced sub 8K. So I like him quite a bit. Jonathan Marchessault, his line mate there, fine stacking partner. They both share the top power play together as well. But I actually think the second line is a little interesting here. They should draw a little bit better matchup here. I like Mark Stone. Mark Stone, 6K right there. That's a nice price point. Going to skate on that top line, top power play as well. So you can definitely look at that. I always love targeting power play lines. So this top power play line for Vegas is definitely a fantastic play here. Shea Theodore still remains sub 6K. He's cheaper than Pietrangelo there. Going to run point on that top power play. I like him. And then Chandler Stevenson continues to be super cheap here, 5,200. Second line, top power play, second line center against skating with Paul Cotter and Mark Stone there. So to sum up Vegas for me, top power play is my preferred stack. And then the lines 1 and 2 are definitely my favorite. Going to be pretty chalky, but there's so many ways to get different in NHL DFS. Not really too scared of the overall ownership there. That third line, you can even jump down to William Karlsson does get power play time. He's 4,300, third line center. Probably going to play, I don't know, around 15 to 16, 17 minutes, somewhere in that ball game or somewhere in that range, excuse me. And if they are kind of beating the brakes off of the Ducks here, you can see some extended run for these third liners. So don't sleep on that Amadio, Doro. I don't want to even try and pronounce his name there, Doro, and then William Karlsson, third line. William Karlsson, definitely my favorite value third line center play in this game. Not going to mess with any of the other guys. One guy I do want to throw out too, another value guy, Nicholas Roy, gets that second power play time as well. 3,500, fourth line center. He's had pretty good history against Anaheim as well. Could see some extended run. He's had 4 shots on goal, 3 shots on goal, 3 shots on goal. So at least 3 shots on net every time he's played Anaheim last season. So 3,500, you could definitely do worse. He has seen power play time as well. Probably going to get around 13 to 15, 16 minutes, depending on how the game's going. So not the worst value play there, getting power play time. Next team, let's go. Let's talk about Edmonton. I'm going right back to the Edmonton well here. They let me down their last game out here against the same Vancouver team in Vancouver. Now they obviously 8 spot. It was 8-1, got absolutely smashed in Vancouver. I think this game flip-flops here. I think we could see a 7-5, 6-7 goal, something like that from Edmonton here coming home. Home opener, just got embarrassed the first game of the season that they played out there in Vancouver. Now they're coming across back to their house. I think Edmonton can absolutely piss pound the Canucks here, excuse my language. But Vancouver, third worst defense in the league last year on the road. The absolute worst power play kill on the road, excuse me, last season. And Edmonton, we know Edmonton has the best power play in the league. They operated at almost a 32% success rate last season, that top power play. And now you get a team like Vancouver, who had the worst penalty kill last year on the road and gave up over 3 chances per game. The 5th, 6th most high danger chances in the league. Everything points here for Edmonton to kind of flip that script. And I could see this score definitely reversed from what we saw there on October 11th, the first game that these two played against each other. Top guys definitely in play. I look at the top power play: McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman. Bouchard is fine. I think I don't love him at 6K, but he was definitely heavily involved in that first game. Played 25 minutes, had 6 shots on net, picked up an assist and a block. So Bouchard definitely is a different player than what I saw last year. Has a huge role in this power play, this top power play. So you definitely include him. And then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, sub 6K. I love that price point on him. I always was a believer in RNH here. I like going right back to the well on him, 5,600 top line or top power play line, centers that second line with Leon and or left wing, between Leon and Zach Hyman. So top two lines firmly in play for me, mainly the top power play, usual suspects for Edmonton. I like Edmonton a lot here. And 12-game slate, not really worried about ownership too much. So like going right back to the well with Edmonton. The other third team I have interest in here on this slate is the Rangers facing Columbus here. Looking at the matchup sheet, the Rangers are on the road here heading into Columbus, but they are a heavy road favorite here. Implied to score over 4 goals, 4.3. Their shots for, they just fire the puck. They were the 4th best team in the league last season in terms of shooting pucks on the net on the road. And now get a team that was the 3rd worst in terms of goals allowed at home last season here in Columbus. So I like going right back to the Rangers. Rangers treated me very well game 1 here in Buffalo, dropped the 5 spot on Buffalo to open the game or open the season. And I think we see another kind of similar performance, 4 or 5 goal outing here between these Rangers and Columbus Blue Jackets here. The price on Mika Zibanejad, 7.3K is too cheap. You can argue he could be 8.3, 8.5 up there with his talent level. This guy's always a threat for a hat trick. Love that price point on him. And I actually like targeting this top power play here for the Rangers. They had the third best road power play in the league last season. And now come into Columbus, where Columbus was sitting right around a 78% penalty kill, kind of towards the bottom half of the league as well in terms of penalties allowed. So I like this top power play a lot for New York. Zibanejad, Artemi Panarin, Bredman, we call him, 6,100 for him. He's on that second line, full strength, but top power play. I always love him on the power play. Adam Fox let me down in the first game, but he still played 20 minutes. I don't expect him to play too many games this season where he doesn't have a couple shots on net. He didn't have any shots in game 1. So I like going right back to Adam Fox. He is 6,100. Price has climbed, rose $200 there, but I think it's still fine in this matchup here. Pretty solid matchup overall. Chris Kreider, love going right back to him. He obviously had the 2 goals, 1 assist, 3-point game. That first game of the season against Buffalo. His price is still sub 6K. I expect him to be pretty chalky, especially in cash. So definitely a good cash play for sure. It's kind of a cash staple, and very, very strong GPP play as well here. Sub 6K. Love Chris Kreider. Vincent Trocheck is looking right now like he's up on the top power play. Let me just check one more source here to see if that is true. Yeah, so Trocheck is up on that top power play as well with Zibby. So they're running 2 centers up on that top power play. He's 4,800. You could definitely do worse than him. Skates on that third line with Blake Wheeler. You can do a little pairing there. But Vincent Trocheck on that top power play, sub 5K. I think you can definitely go to him as well. So firmly, mainly my target here for New York Rangers. Typically how I always play them is that top power play. So love that top power play. Number 1 for the Rangers. My 4th favorite team here, and then I got 2 lower owned teams that I like to go to on this slate to give you kind of 6 teams off the top that I'm targeting this at this point of the day here. My other team I like is Seattle. I've been a believer in these Kraken, and now they head out to St. Louis, who St. Louis was very, very bad last season. Didn't have a great game here to start the year as well. So I like Seattle here quite a bit in this matchup. Seattle, pretty healthy implied goal total as well. We saw St. Louis did play Dallas pretty strong in that first game there. But like I said on this show for that game, Dallas in spots like that are definitely let people down quite a bit. So I like the Kraken in this one on the road here. Kind of a pick 'em in this one, but looking at the matchup sheet that I have, the Kraken were the 3rd best offense in the league last season in terms of expected goals. Their actual goals weren't there, so a lot of goals were left on the table for them. I like going right back to the well here because St. Louis, especially on their power play or their penalty kill, was the fourth worst in the league last year at home. Yeah, they can dictate matchups here, but I think these Kraken at their price points are definitely, and their ownership definitely makes some sense here. I prefer that second line, actually, I think, more than that top line. So I like the Burakovsky, Jaden Schwartz, Alex Wenberg line more for Seattle. Is kind of where I would go. Have a little bit better cheap price points. Should draw a decent matchup here on the road. So overall, give me Seattle Kraken, that second line a little bit as kind of a lower own stack in a good spot against a team here who I don't think is very good. Obviously, Jordan Binnington can always stand on his head, but you never know what he's going to get. He did give up 4 goals last time he faced Seattle and 3 goals the game before that. So 7 goals in 2 games in his last 2 games against this team. I think we could see 3 or 4 goals here again from Seattle, and at their price points, that would definitely be enough in terms of fantasy. 2 of my lower owned teams. Number 1 is Chicago. I like this matchup, Chicago in Montreal here. Looking at Montreal, they're going to have Sam Montembeault in net. It looks like monster truck. He's fine. He's good, but this top line, Taylor Radish, Ryan Donato, and Connor Bedard just looks very, very good right now. Connor Bedard, absolute complete stud, 17 to 22 DraftKings points, 11 shots on net in his two games. Obviously got his first NHL goal last game against Boston. I think he could have 2 or 3 goals in this one. Absolutely love it. It's an elite matchup. Centers versus Montreal smashed last season. And I like going right back to the well here. Montreal was bottom 5 in the league last year in terms of goals against, even worse in terms of expected goals against. Terrible penalty kill at just 74%. Gave up a lot of penalties and gave up the 4th most high danger chances in the league. And now get a newly ramped Chicago team who played Boston to a 3-1 deficit and then beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh to open that game as a very, very heavy dog. Connor Bedard is the real deal. I love him here at 7,700. I really love the Donato, Seth Jones, Connor Bedard stack, a little 3-man stack there. Seth Jones, top power play, top line, skating with those guys. Donato is 4,100, very, very good value, top line, top power play. And then Connor Bedard. I love that 3-man stack there. Lucas Reichel is also on that top power play. You can throw him in there. He's sub 4K, definitely cheap. And then Corey Perry's an elite value play on this slate. Sub 3K, skating on that top power play. Played 16 minutes in his first game and 16 minutes last game. Had 2 assists in game 1, just 1 shot on net last game. But averaging 16 minutes a game at sub 3K, getting power play time, you can definitely go wrong in other places. So Corey Perry stands up to me as a nice value on the slate for Chicago. And then actually my 6th favorite kind of lower owned stack that I don't think anybody's going to go to here, but our matchup sheet over at SHIPITNation.com definitely highlighted this one for me because the Carolina Hurricanes last season gave up the most goals against on the road. Their Hurricanes were very good at home overall, but on the road they gave up a lot. And I think these Kings at home here, after getting punched in the mouth at home against Colorado in game 1, I think they rebound here against Carolina. I like them quite a bit. Adrian Kemp, I think, is an elite play here. 6,300, incredible history against Carolina in his past as well. So I love the Kings top line. Kopitar, Byfield, Adrian Kemp is definitely my preferred line when I'm going here. You can throw in that second line as well for LA, Philip Deneau, Trevor Moore, and Grundstrom there. But I definitely love that top line. Don't need to worry about ownership because I don't see anyone going here. It is only a 6 total. Carolina, slight home or road favorites, but the Kings are definitely my favorite dog on the slate. So for betting people, I think the Kings can beat Carolina here at home. And I like them to score some goals here at very, very low ownership. That's six of the teams I'm kind of looking at. Obviously, there's 12 games on the slate here, 24 teams to pick from. You can have different thoughts than I do. That's just where I'm looking right now. I play matchups in NHL. Obviously, we got last season numbers to go off of right now. So those are some of the things I'm looking at. Let's jump into some of these goalies here. Look at some of these goalies that I have interest in here. First goalie, my spend-up goalie of choice is definitely Jeremy Swayman. He's confirmed to start for Boston. Again, the lowest total on the board here. Swayman has back-to-back shutouts against Nashville here. Allmark's gonna take a seat in this one. Swayman's getting the start. 8,100. He's my favorite spend up goalie at 8.1K. Absolutely love him. Think if you're spending up, that's where I would go. The next guy I have interest in is Ilya Sorokin. I love Sorokin here, especially at home against Buffalo. Buffalo shoots a ton, so he should have save upside. Has done very well against Buffalo. His one last game 3-2. Game before that he lost 3-2, but had 45 saves. So he can get you a lot of saves in this one. I think New York Islanders win this game as well at home. So I like Sorokin there at 7,900. Philip Grubauer is interesting in that Seattle game. I think Seattle beats St. Louis here, so I have to have some interest in him at just 7,500. Has done very well against St. Louis in his past again. So mid-tier goalie Philip Grubauer, I have some interest in here as well. And then Peter Mrazek, I think Montreal wins. I think Montreal loses this game. I think Chicago beats Montreal here. So Peter Mrazek at 7,100. Obviously, he had an incredible game in that first game against Pittsburgh there on the road. 38 save win there. Gave up 40 shots. I think we see a similar performance here. I don't think he's going to score 23. But at 7,100, he's probably my favorite punt goalie because I like Chicago's offense in this game, and 7.1K. I think he can definitely be a great goalie play here as well as my cheap preferred option. Talking on some of the highest values on this slate, just going to look through some of the value plays in this slate just for some of you. Cole Caulfield stands out to me for sure. They're in Montreal. I like Montreal. I think we can see some goals in that game, that Chicago-Montreal game. Cole Caulfield at sub 5K is just too cheap for him as well, so I definitely want to call that out as well. Corey Perry, already mentioned him as an elite value play. James Van Riemsdyk for Boston there. Top line, top power play. He's slated to skate on right now. He's just 4K. He's a great value there and a pretty bad total, but overall it's a pretty solid value play, so don't hate him. That's some of the top values on the slate. Some of the other guys you can look at, I already mentioned, just wanted to hit on some of those values there. But again, that's kind of the high level overview where I'm going. All my final thoughts will be up on SHIPIT Nation later this afternoon here. After I get off the show, I will start putting my slate plan together. My core plays will be there shortly after. Matchup sheets already updated in on the website. Again, you can head over to SHIPITNation.com. $19 a month gets you access to all the premium content behind the paywall, except the premium Discord, which definitely is a huge added bonus to that. But you can check out all the stuff. You can see some of the NBA stuff that we got rolling out, including the new NBA education video where Title, Hoop, and Tambo also go through their NBA process. Little game theory, little education course. $19 gets you access to that, as well as the NFL one if you haven't seen the NFL one already. But obviously NBA shortly approaching here in a couple of days. You can definitely head over that. Take in and learn from some of the best players in the world, including Tambo, who's won multiple live final seats, cashed those tickets into $150,000 last season. So that's going to do it for this NHL Quick Hit. Again, drop your comments in the comments section in terms of your thoughts on these larger slates. Try and keep this video short for you. We're sitting about 24 minutes. Get you information, and then you can find my final thoughts up on SHIPITNation.com. But for Nades, I will catch you guys next time. Good luck in your contest today. Let's ship it.